Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning. Today, I'm looking at the Cleveland Browns and determining whether or not they have the best roster in the NFL. But before getting to that topic, question for those of you viewing: do you guys think the Cleveland Browns will win the AFC North in the upcoming 2021 NFL season? There's some tough teams in that division. Steelers, they might be finally dropping off, but the Bengals, they're only getting better. And as long as Lamar Jackson is healthy on the Ravens, that is a very electric and dangerous team. So it won't be easy for the Browns, but it is possible. Comment down below if you think they'll win this division. But looking at this team as a whole and considering if they're the best roster, I'm not saying they're the best at any position. They have the best quarterback or best secondary. I'm saying all around, as a whole, overall, put together, is this roster better than any other roster in the NFL? And I'm going to break it down. Starting with the coaching staff, head coach Kevin Stefanski, a lot of credit is due to him. He's the reigning coach of the year, and he's finally been the coach that could turn the Cleveland Browns around. It wasn't just him solely, but he's definitely a big factor and big part of turning this team around, and he got this team the first playoff win in who knows how long. Kudos to Kevin Stefanski. Even though he wasn't there coaching the Browns in their playoff win, I know, whatever, he was still a big reason they won it. And looking at the actual roster, Baker Mayfield, he's a top 12, top 10 quarterback who's only getting better after now getting a receiving core that's going to have a healthy OBJ. And then beside him, you got a Rashard Higgins, a Jarvis Landry, a double tight end threat, and Austin Hooper, and David Njoku. And the Browns even got Baker a little more help to throw the ball to, and Anthony Schwartz in the third round of the NFL draft. The receiving core is stout. I don't want to say it's the number one in the NFL, but I do think it's probably top five when you consider pure star power and depth as well. Considering both, I do think the Browns are top five for sure. Looking at the offensive line, it's the number one paid offensive line in the NFL, and typically when you're the number one paid at that position, hand in hand, that typically goes with being the number one player or talent at that position, and that obviously is going to correlate with the offensive line being so highly paid. They're obviously one of the best in the NFL. I don't want to say they're number one, but I do think they're top three, top five offensive line at worst. So Baker Mayfield's got a fortress of offense around him to throw the ball to and to protect him and also to hand off to. Looking at the backfield, I do think they have the best duo of running backs in the NFL between Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt's a very all-around back that can run the football, receive the football, and Nick Chubb is a guy that can absolutely pound the rock, push the pile, and I think he could run just as good as any running back in the NFL. Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb can run just as good as any other back in the NFL. I'm not saying he's better than them, but I think he's on the same par as them. So looking at this offense, it's definitely one of the best in the NFL, no doubt. There's some tough ones out there. You know, when comparing to like a tough team like the Kansas City Chiefs, yeah, the Browns might have an edge over Clyde Edwards-Helaire when you look at the backfield. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt over Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Browns have an edge there. But when you look at quarterback, you're comparing a top 10 quarterback to the top 1 quarterback in the NFL. Chiefs have an edge there. It's just really debatable, but just looking at the offense, they're definitely up there with the top teams. Moving to the defense, this is where I don't want to say the Browns' weakness was last year, because it wasn't like they just destroyed the team. They still had a successful season, but it was their weaker side of the football. But after free agency, after the draft, and after an entire offseason, this team, this defense, I think is on par with any other defense in the NFL. Looking at the pass rush, and now you have Myles Garrett, Malik Jackson, Takkarist McKinley, and Jadeveon Clowney. Jadeveon Clowney is not going to give you 17 games a season. He's not going to be there every snap, but he could play situationally, be there on the big third downs, on the blitzes, and like I said, situationally, when you need him, if he's healthy, he'll be there to bring an impact. Looking at the linebacker core, you have Anthony Walker kind of captaining that team, but now that you picked up Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, excuse me on that pronunciation, I'm just going to call him JOK. That was an absolute steal for the Browns to pick him up in the draft. JOK was supposed to be possibly a mid to late first rounder. Browns got him in the second round. That was an absolute steal. And to mention other steals, the Browns also picked up Greg Newsome, a pretty good corner to pick up in the late first round. The Browns probably didn't think would be available either. They thought they might have to settle for a worser corner, possibly like a Tyson Campbell or Asante Samuel Jr., not to take anything away from those guys, but a Greg Newsome was a steal late in the first round for the Browns. So to get JOK and Greg Newsome and not even really having to give up a whole lot, really not sacrificing much at all and getting those sealed players, this Browns defense is going to go to the next level. Like I said, JOK's got Anthony Walker to help captain this team, and Greg Newsome in the secondary has a Greedy Williams, has a Denzel Ward, has a Troy Hill, has a John Johnson. this Browns team, from top to bottom, every spick and span of this team has talent, from the secondary to the front seven to just the defensive line to the coaching staff to the offensive line to the receiving core to the backfield to the quarterback. There's no extremely weak point. Yeah, I mean, no team is absolutely flawless and absolutely perfect. You can always improve, but at this point, we're just picking hairs here and just being super critical. Overall, this team is as top-notch as it gets in the NFL when it comes to pure star power and great depth combined. The Browns have it. Now, to give them the crown, to give them number one, that is tough. I do think, just debating about it, just going in this conversation, you could definitely say they're top three. It's hard for me to, decrown the Tampa Bay Buccaneers being the Super Bowl champions. Comparing the two, Tom Brady over Baker Mayfield, he might be old. I'm still giving the edge to Tom Brady. Offensive line, I'll give that to the Browns. Backfield, I'll give it to the Browns. Again, these are really close. I'm not trying to just say one definitely outweighs the other. It's really close. Receiving core, I'm going to give it to the Bucs. Coaching staff, I like Kevin Stefanski versus Bruce Arians head-to-head, just head coach. But considering the overall coaching staff, I like Byron Leftwich and Todd Bowles and Bruce Arians all together. So I like the overall coaching staff over the Browns. Looking at the defense, Browns on paper is just as good, if not better, than the Bucs, but just not actually seeing them play yet, not seeing it come into fruition, seeing a lot of these guys be rookies, be free agents, and not being with the Browns just yet, not playing a single snap with them just yet. I don't know if I could give them the edge over the Bucs just yet. And I'm not trying to be biased towards the Bucs. There's other teams as well. Like I said, the Chiefs, Mahomes edges them out there. Chiefs with a new rebuilt offensive line with Orlando Brown Jr., Joe Tooney, and Kyle Long. They might be just as good as the Chiefs, as the Browns. Receiving core, Tyreek Hill, and McCole Hardman, and Travis Kelce. They might be good, just as good as the Browns. Defense, Frank Clark, Chris Jones, led by Tyrann Mathieu. Their defense might be on par with the Chiefs. LA Rams, Matt Stafford, good offensive line led by Andrew Whitworth. Good backfield with young Cam Akers. Good receiving core, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Sean Jackson, Van Jefferson, Tyler Higbee. Looking at the defense, you got the star power of Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey. There's a lot of teams out there. I'm not trying to just be biased towards the Bucs, but the Browns, I think they do edge someone out and make top three. And can they be number one? 100%. I truly believe they will turn into number one, but just not seeing it yet, just not knowing if Baker Mayfield will take a further step. He's already done enough for the Browns. He brought them more success than any other guy has in the past 2 decades, but can he be even better? Can he finally break the 30 touchdown threshold? He's never passed the 30 touchdowns. Can he finally break that threshold? Will OBJ fit in the system? Will Baker not feel forced to throw the ball to him? Can Kevin Stefanski control the drama of OBJ? It's just a couple of variables on the Browns team, such as Baker, such as OBJ, such as Jadeveon Clowney, if he'll stay healthy, such as these new rookies, JOK and Greg Newsome, will they live up to the hype? There's too many variables for me to give them the crown just yet. The other teams, like the Rams, I guess there's a big variable there with Matt Stafford, but overall, nothing's really changed with quarterback. Bucs, they're getting the same team. I just feel like there's 1 to 2 to maybe 3 teams out there the Browns aren't topping just yet on paper today in the offseason. I think, like I said, come season time, when we see these guys get some snaps, get some reps, and hit the midpoint of the season, we might say this Browns team's going to the AFC Championship. This Browns team's going to the Super Bowl. This Browns team has the number one roster. They are better than the Bucs. They are better than the Chiefs. They are better than the Rams. But right now, on paper, it's just too soon. Not even seeing these guys in a Cleveland Brown jersey yet. I can't give them the edge just yet. I think they're top 3, and I love this Browns team, and I have them making the AFC Championship this year. But there's a couple teams out there that I just already know what they are, and I think they're above the above the Browns. Overall, though, my opinion, like I said, I do think it'll change come season time, and I'm not trying to take anything away from the Browns. Just because they're not number one doesn't mean they suck. I like this team a lot, but I can't give them number one. I can't give them the crown just yet, not seeing them play. But as always, guys, I want to hear your opinions. Do you like this Browns team as the number one roster in the NFL on offense, on defense, and coaching staff? Overall, where do you rank this Browns roster? And of course, comment down below. Do you think they'll win the AFC North? I 100% think they'll win it. It'll be tough with the Ravens. Won't be a landslide, but I do think the Browns will edge them out. And of course, guys, as always, comment down below. And again, thanks for watching. 2-minute warning.